This is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have a very special treat for you, and it's a fun day for me as well. It's always a fun day when I get a brand new kitchen appliance in-house to test out for you guys. So what we have today is we have the all-new Omega BL630 blender. Now this is a 3-peak horsepower blender. This is probably one of the most powerful blenders that you could find and buy to use in your home. In addition, it also is ETL certified and ETL sanitation certified, which complies to NSF standards. So for those of you that have restaurants or bars or juice bars, this can be used in your commercial establishment as well. So first, let's go ahead and unbox the Omega BL630 blender. Now this model does come in 3 colors. I happen to have the red color. That's the BL630R. They also have a BL630S, which is the silver, a BL630W, which is the white. But I think red looks really stylish and may match your kitchen if you have that retro look. All right, let's go ahead and open this box up. All right, so inside you see a carafe or a jar or a container, however you want to call it. This is a 64-ounce container. Now this is the Eastman Triton copolymer. This is the BPA-free material. So it's definitely good to have BPA-free plastics in your home, and especially in contact with your food, because it won't leach the bisphenol A that may have been shown to cause things like cancer and whatnot. In addition, it has a nice rubber lid that you could snap off, and this has a nice sealing lid that has these latches on 2 sides so that it makes a positive contact and won't fly off when you're blending. In addition, on this blender carafe, you have a top. You could actually take this off. This acts as an air vent. Plus, you could add things in when you're blending. So definitely really good design on the top. And this jar is probably the most heavy-duty jar of any blender I know. This thing weighs in at a little bit over 3 pounds with the top. That's nice and heavy-duty and definitely durable too. So this has an all stainless steel blade assembly, bearing assembly, and assembly on the bottom here, which is metal contact to the motor. Definitely high quality. So let's go ahead and put this aside. So next, let's take out the motor of the BL630 blender, and here it is right here. Let's get rid of that box. Check this out. So once again, this is the red model. Also comes in silver and white. Has a pad up on the top, a rubber pad, which is a sound dampening pad. Definitely makes it a little bit quieter and cleanup easier as well. On the front here, you have a couple simple controls. You have a dial control on this side, and this is your timer switch. Your timer control can, you could set it from run from 15, 25, 35, 45, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and 6 minutes, all automatically. So basically, you set it for the time you want, you hit on, it'll run for that predetermined amount of time, and then shut itself off. So no longer do you have to babysit your blender. With some blenders, if you let them run too long, it'll actually heat up whatever you're blending and actually create a warm soup. So with this machine as well, you can create a warm soup. Just run it for at least 3 minutes or longer, and it'll actually, the friction in the blender will create some heat and warm up whatever you're blending. In addition, the easy controls on here, you have an on button, an off button. You also have the infinity button, which will basically just run it until you press the off button. And you have a nice pulse button, so you can just press the pulse button to pulse the blender in case you do want to do some things like chop. On this side, you have an infinite variable speed control, so you could turn this dial here, and just much like the old-fashioned TV volume control knob, you could turn it all the way down or turn it all the way up. So this controls it really slow blending, really fast blending. So really nice, real easy. Another feature I like about this blender that I haven't seen on any other blender is actually the gripper foot. The gripper foot is this bottom piece here, and that, if you count these, there's actually 13 individual feet that keep this stable on top of your countertop. So even if you're blending at super high speeds, and this blender runs up to 27,500 RPMs, this is going to stay stable on your countertop because literally it has 13 points of contact of rubber with your countertop, whereas most blenders have 4. So definitely really smart idea. In addition, on the bottom you have nice cord storage, so you could store that cord when you're not using it. And also on the bottom, another feature I really like that some of the competitor models don't actually have is a reset switch. So Should you overload the blender, this reset switch will pop out much like the circuit breaker in your house. You press it back in and you're once again up and blending. So real simple, real easy. And let's go ahead and sit this guy down. Now this guy can get a little bit tall with the carafe on it, so this won't fit under your standard 16-inch cabinets. If you have a 16-inch cabinet above your countertop and to your cabinets usually 16 inches, this is not going to fit, a little bit too tall. So next, let's go ahead and plug this in and let's do some blender testing with the Omega BL630 blender. Alright, so I got the blender all plugged in, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do two simple tests for the blender. Number one is we're going to take some flax seeds. Now flax seeds are high in omega-3 fatty acids, but the problem with flax seeds is you can see I have about almost a 3/4 of a cup of flax seeds. Now if you ate these flax seeds whole, you wouldn't be able to really digest them because they have a hard shell on them, and unless you chew them really well, they're going to go in one side and come out whole the other side, and you're not going to get any nutrition out of them. So what I recommend is that you take something like a high power blender to basically grind up the flax seeds into a flaxseed meal. And you should only grind your flax seeds into the meal when you're going to use them. So don't like buy a lot of flax seeds, grind it all up into a meal, and then store it. No, you want to keep them in the seed state and not rupture the cell walls of the seed, because the seed keeps all the nutrition and the omega-3 fatty acids stable inside there. The minute you bust open the cell walls of the seed, then air could get in and oxidize some of the fats, and then you could have rancid fats, which is no good. So anyways, always do this with a dry blender carafe. So we have a dry blender carafe here. We're going to simply pour the 3/4 cup flax seeds into the blender carafe. And we're going to simply close the top, secure it down tightly. So now that we have the blender all loaded up with our flax seeds, we're going to go to the side, and there's an on-off switch. We're going to turn that on. Our control panel lights up momentarily to let you know that it's on. Wow, and look at that. A nice, quick, and easy job of turning the whole flax seeds into a flax powder. This did an amazing job. I like this carafe because it's a nice square design, so it's easy to spatula your item out. Plus, this will create a nice vortex inside so that everything gets blended up. So we're going to tap that down a little bit. Let's go ahead and pour that flax seed. Look at that nice flax meal into the container. Now you could use this in recipes. You could sprinkle this over salads, over cereals. Put it in a lot of different recipes. So flax meal is very healthy to consume in your diet, and I would encourage everybody to eat more flax meal because it's really high in omega-3s, and most Americans' diets are deficient and they don't eat enough omega-3s, but they eat way too many omega-6s, and there's a balance of omega-6s to 3s, and most people don't get their 3s, so eat some flax meal. So the next task we're going to do in the Omega BL630 blender is make a green smoothie. And so simply in our green smoothie, we're just putting about 2 cups of fresh squeezed orange juice. And then we're going to put a whole bunch of collard greens. Now this can be a little bit difficult for a blender even to handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these thick stems and all into the blender. But when we do that, we're going to want to cut them up into smaller pieces. So we're just going to rip these apart, and look at that, whole stems into the machine. Now this blender will literally take these stems, fiber and all, and literally turn it into a smoothie consistency. So it's going to be nice and smooth. All the fiber is going to be busted up so that you can get the maximum absorption of the nutrition in these greens. As you know, most people don't chew their greens enough, or actually just chew their food enough. So that's where a blender can really come in handy, so that you can get the maximum digestion out of the food you're going to eat. So there you go. We just put all that big bunch of greens in. We're going to put the top on. Once again, we're going to hit that infinity button. Look at it, suck in all those greens. No problem for the Omega BL630 blender. It's even varying the speed to suck in the greens. Now it jacks up the speed to go faster so that you get a complete blend every time. Once again, it's slowing it down to suck everything in, and in a few seconds it's going to speed it back up to blend up all those greens into a nice green smoothie that's so delicious and nutritious. So it's continuing to blend. I think we're good enough, so we can hit the off button there. And let's check out the consistency of our smoothie. Look, it was orange juice and kale greens, and now it's just a smoothie. That is so delicious. So before I go, I'd like to mention a few more features of the Omega BL630 blender that set it apart from the competition. The Omega BL630 blender has a full 10-year warranty, so that's one of the longest warranties that you will find on any household blender. So that's simply amazing. That's a super long warranty. Once again, has the BPA free Eastman Triton Carafe. So the Eastman Triton Carafe is more dense and it tends to lessen the sound emanating from the blender. So this blender is really powerful, 3 peak horsepower. What more could you ask for in a blender? So I hope you've enjoyed this episode learning more about the Omega BL630 blender. Once again, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.